on this poverty and food security, but I worked in the earlier stage of my career on the, this. So what I feel is that there are 2-3 points on which I want to share with you. Do we really need this food security bill or food security act? And secondly, the question of this, whatever estimate has been given by recently by the Planning Commission, that the drastic reduction in the poverty levels. And according to one expert, he had pointed out that if the thing move in this light, then by 2014-15 there will be no poverty at all so far the urban population is concerned. And second thing is that questions are also raised in regard to the support of this, whatever finances we need to meet the requirement of if this food security bill is entirely, implemented. Whatever other problems are, identification is there. And if we go by Professor Srinder's, argument that there are 4 ways how we can deal with all these situations, and this is the 4th one. And I think why there is need to focus more on this 4th one, whether we need this food security bill or not, I think this is the perhaps only option. If we go by the whatever the developments are taking place around us with the implementation of new economic policy and so on, what is happening around from the last, say, if not prior to that, from the last 30 years. So I support that we need this food security bill. Whatever problems are there, the same kind of apprehensions were raised when Manrega was implemented. And I think at least in case of Punjab, what I have noticed, if all other things, weaknesses are there so far Manrega is concerned, Manrega has substantially contributed to raise the wages in the rural sector. That people have the option now, and it has substantially increased so far the wage rate in the rural area is concerned. Of course, the farmers are not happy because they have to pay more to the laborers and same is in the urban area also, because majority of the urban labor that comes from the rural area. And secondly, lot of reaction came when the Chamber of Commerce and others and elite class that how much burden it will put on. And recently there was one article published in Hindu where she has narrated the entire story of the Asia, particularly South Asia, that where we stand, how much we are spending on so far the food subsidy related finance is concerned, and according to her, it was only about 0.88% of our GDP. What we were spending on the entire food related subsidy, which is being extended to the poor section of the society. And she has estimated also that if we implement fully this Food Security Act, then this share hardly increased to 1.22% of the GDP of India, and which is again, she has been compared with all these neighboring countries, all the countries, they are spending more than what India is spending earlier, as well as even with the implementation of this food security bill. So I think this is just being exaggerated so far that from where the funds will come. And Dr. Surinder has already suggested how we can raise the funds. Of course, there is a very remote possibility so far taxing of the upper class is concerned. Otherwise, how much subsidy the government has extended to the export houses only after the particularly the meltdown and during the recession, that is goes into many times more than what the total food security bill and other related subsidies which are for the poor. And the second thing is that so far these the lowering of the poverty line is concerned, there are 2-3 things which have happened during the last phase 2 decades, that if we go by the Planning Commission's estimates that poverty has reduced, I don't agree on the basis of 2-3 developments which have taken place. One is that Professor Sidhu has already pointed out all those issues. One is that the share of the agriculture sector in the GDP, that has gone down during this period, and the shifting of the population and workforce, that is not at the same rate. So it implies, what does it mean is that the per capita availability of the GDP to the rural people, workforce, that has gone down. Even if we see that there is a shift in the tertiary sector, particularly the service sector, many studies has pointed out that whatever jobs, of course, has been created in the service sector, the quality of those jobs is not so far the per month salary or wages of the people who are working in the service sector, that is not except 1 or 2% of the people who are working in the service sector. So if we go by all these accounts, then there is no possibility that the poor share, so far the poor population, that has gone down. Rather, I think if serious attempts are made, then it will certainly the kind of poverty which is now prevailing in urban area as well as in the rural sector, as Professor Amarjit has pointed out, when we go back, because a planning commission has taken only the price indexation. They have not taken care of the cost of living which is increasing. So if we take their estimates only and we include this cost of living, then it should be much higher than that, and as a result the share, the percentage of the population below the poverty line, that will be much more than that, more than 50% or 60% even. And secondly, they have not taken care of the increasing expenditure on the non-food items, which has substantially increased. Of course, the food prices have also gone up, but the other non-food items, cost, that has increased manifold. So that if we take into consideration that aspect, then even then, the estimation of the estimates of planning commission are not needed to the reality. And secondly, the situation which is prevailing at present, maybe that it is the, some people are saying that it is the politics of the Congress government, they want to, implement this aspect because the 2014 election is there. I think even if it is so, even that, the kind of agenda which Modi is taking or projecting, I think it is better than that option if we are to, in spite of all these limitations or whatever Professor Amarjit is mentioning that it's not possible or it will not ultimately contribute positively so far when you are to make people dependent more and more on such dose. But the situation is such that it demands that the poor people whose access has gone down over the period of time to all the basic necessities of life, including the food and the non-food items, apart from education and health, they need some kind of support. And from that angle, whatever improvements we want, the Food Security Act should come up, and whatever the methodological problems are there, they should be taken care. The state should be involved in this entire process because identification, as Professor Singh has mentioned, it's a serious issue. How we are to identify, as it happened in Atta Dal scheme in Punjab, that now they are surviving on this issue, that they have brought even those people who are not poor, that all the sarpanches and others, they are also getting this atta and dal, and even then there are way outs how we should take care of the expenditure aspect of the people also. If people are spending more, they could be excluded from when we are to identify the people. That is a big task so far the identification of the people is concerned. But certainly if so far the secret reports are concerned, the national UPA government is very much clear that whatever presentation they were presenting before the people, that reforms has contributed positively. It is not so far the grassroots level situation is concerned. So their advisor are one is that is the advisory committee. There are some other advisors also. That how you can come out of this problem. So that has resulted to this very hurriedly implementation of the food security bill, because the ground realities are very the serious, and therefore whatever flaws are in the estimation, but the number of the poor in India and the kind of poverty which is developing, that has increased over the period of time. Thank you very much.
See, schedule one of the bill is writing that rupees 3 per kg rice, 2 rupees wheat and 1 rupees coarse grain will be made available under this act only for 3 years. After that, it will be at a minimum support price. But we are debating, I mean, how poverty they will be eradicated? They will eradicate poverty within 3 years. Second, why it is so politicized bill? I am saying empowerment of women. Head of the household, the card will be issued in the name of a woman who is above 18 years of age. In case there is no woman above 18 years of age, the eldest man will be. Suppose the husband is not there, eldest man could be 1 year child. So the card will be in that name. Look at the demagogy.
Let us implement, we will resolve the problem. If the things are not implemented, how we can?
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਿਰਫ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਨਾ 1%
ਆਪਾਂ technical level ਨਹੀਂ. Then we are supporting the argument of the Chamber of Commerce, not the poor people's.
In the same household, when that woman achieves above 80, then the card will be transferred to that woman. See, I mean, it's a highly qualified. I'm not opposing the bill here. I'm saying it is another thing. Chapter 3 and 4 of the
56 amendments are already there. You can also suggest that.
chapter 3 and 4 they have already removed from the bill. Why?
Dr. Amarjit, my point is that certain issues are deliberately opposed. That some people don't want. I think at least those who are supporting the poor's, question, they should support it.
Food security bill ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵਾ, food security bill ਜਿਹੜਾ poverty remove ਕਰਨ ਲੱਗਾ.
I'm not opposing.